Well, good Monday morning. It's Dr. Bill Williams, and here we are with another Influencers podcast coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. And it's my pleasure today to have from Palo Alto, California, Dapper Care CEO and founder, David Pachkofsky. So, David, come on board and let's hear all about what's going on with Dapper Care these days.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for having me. And I'm the founder and CEO of Dapper Care. And Dapper Care is will be my 15th startup today in the last 23 years.
That's impressive.
Yes. So I'm a glutton for punishment. So this is going to be my this is kind of my hopefully it'll be my unicorn. But Dapper Care connects consumers with licensed healthcare professionals and provides high quality, affordable healthcare without the need for insurance. We're a cash pay healthcare solution, which includes personalized treatments or medication delivered to your doorstep for free. And each treatment costs less than the typical copayment in this country. So, so that's that.
It sounds like you're tapping into the vertical market, trying to cut out some of the middlemen, trying to reduce the cost to the consumer,
right,
and bring them a more convenient service.
Yeah, so we're a direct-to-consumer business. We're eliminating the need for in-home or in-office doctor visits for the treatments that we're providing. So we're focusing on desensitizing sensitive health issues. So these are the kind of things that you don't want to go in to see the doctor about. So, men's and women's sexual health. So that's like erectile dysfunction. And skincare issues, hair, so acne, that kind of thing, and then hair loss. And then we also provide mental health services, because all of these, issues usually have underlying causes, which is usually mental health, whether it be stress or anxiety or, something else that's going on in your life. So we provide that, and then we have daily care or daily health care. So like if you have if you've got a cold or something like that, or if you've got allergies, we can help you with that too.
So you're talking about a lot of over-the-counter medications. You're talking about some that are actually prescription. Tell us your company's motto.
Yeah, so we basically, unlike our competition, what we really specialize in is providing personalized treatments. So that means that when you come to our website, you go through an online consultation, which will mimic the same, format that you would if you were in front of your doctor. So we'll diagnose you, then we prescribe you, and then we treat you. And through that process, we have incorporated artificial intelligence and machine learning into our platform that will identify, key, underlying issues, flag pain points, anything, follow-up care, anything that may be causing, the problem that needs to be addressed with a different doctor, so that we're not just turning people away because, let's say, they have a heart condition or diabetes or something of that nature, and saying goodbye. Sorry, we can't, provide you. We can't give you the Viagra that you need. But then these people never go to see a doctor. So why would they go see a doctor for these other issues? So the idea is that we'll help them, see a doctor for these other issues as well. so that these people don't fall through the cracks. So
Yeah, one of the things that I found as I was dealing with medicine, telemedicine is useful, but sometimes there's a limitation or a cutoff. I mean, there's some that will just cut you off after age 70 because they don't want to deal with a geriatric population. They say this is valid for everybody. So, do you have any success secrets that your company is modeling that will be superior to what's out there?
well, all of our healthcare professionals are licensed to and have been trained to treat everybody for the different treatments that we provide. So from pediatrics all the way, up through the baby boomers. So, and because we don't accept insurance, we're cash pay only. We are able to do, some things that a lot of, that are limited by the health insurance companies. And for instance, like we've got, we do compounded medications. So, which is, I think what is our bread and butter, where we're able to provide PGX testing if needed, where we actually will, it's a diagnostic test that we'll provide to our patients that looks at how medication actually reacts with their genetic, genomes, and because everybody has, everybody has a different genetic makeup, and so one medication that may work well with one person may not another. So we're able to compound the medication specifically for their needs. So, the milligram, what goes into it, we may add multiple different medications into one, or let's say you're, because of your age or whatever, you have trouble taking pills, for instance, where, people stop taking their medication. And this is what one of the major issues is with the healthcare, and this, people have these, treatments that actually work, but they're failing because they're not taking their medication properly, where we'll actually be able to provide like a specialized delivery system possibly. So instead of taking a pill, for instance, we can compound the medication into a sublingual dissolvable strip that actually will go under your tongue. You can it dissolves and it goes into your bloodstream, bypassing your GI tract. You don't have to swallow a pill, and it's effective within minutes rather than having to wait, an hour or so.
Yeah, you speak about alternate delivery systems, and that's a big factor because if you can bypass the stomach, sometimes the enzyme systems work more efficiently too. I know when I was in dental school, I was part of a research project that measured the intake of fluoride.
Mm-hmm.
And my research doctor in charge threw out some of the findings because he didn't believe them. He was not quite up to speed yet on sublingual delivery.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we introduced the fluoride into the mouth, it was in the bloodstream within seconds.
Right.
And he said, that's probably an error. We throw that one out. Now, that's exactly what happens. If you put nitroglycerin under the tongue, it's immediate. Yep. Same thing with other pharmaceuticals. So, yeah, I understand what you're doing there. That's wise. What about people that would be your perfect client? Why would somebody buy from you?
Well, so our basically our biggest consumer segment, which is the reason why I actually started Dapper Care altogether, was because is the it's a range from, it's basically the millennials. So it's about age 35 through 75, let's say, and we we have treatments for men's and women. So we have the men's site, treatment site, which is Dapper, and then Chloe is our women's treatments. But over 70% of the revenue comes from male sexual health treatments, and that's pretty much the case with across the board with our competitors as well. There's just such a big consumer segment for sexual health, like erectile dysfunction. It's a major issue in this country. So, and well, worldwide actually. So, because 80% of men over the age of 35 run into some type of an issue at some point. So, yeah, and so I started a digital marketing company back in 2003, and I've had it ever since. And we've always focused on health and wellness products, direct to consumer. We use the same business model with all my businesses, which is continuity based or subscription based model, and which I believe is the most it's the best business model out there. Recurring revenue stream. And what I've done is basically over the years with each company, I made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes, and I've learned from those mistakes and slowly gotten better and better at what I've done. And I've, my claim to fame is I've sold nearly $1 billion in health and wellness products over the last 23 years. But lots of mistakes, but lessons learned. And I built Dapper because what I wanted to do is I was fed up with the issues that kept arising with the businesses, in that space over the years. And it just can take a company that's, on track, to do really well and just derail it really quickly. And I put the time in to actually, eliminate all of these issues. And I'm sure there'll be others, but, I'm not going to be complacent. But Dapper Care is the best of everything, I think, because all the products, treatments that we offer are prescription only. So no matter what it is, even if it's an over-the-counter medication or something, or over-the-counter product, like an herbal supplement or something, it's all.
I hate to say this, but I want to ask if you have any idea about how to crush the competition, or in a better way to put it, do you have stiff competition out there?
We do. And my business model has always been to not recreate the wheel. So, because I know that I'm one of the best out there when it comes to selling health and wellness products direct to consumer. I own this consumer segment. And I never had issues with being able to do volume and sales with selling these type of products. It's always something else that comes up that limits on what the kind of volume that we can actually do as far as revenue goes. But it's a huge market. It's not as big as like the skincare market, but that's why we're doing skincare and hair loss, and we'll add treatments, as we progress. And eventually, the idea is that people will be able to come to us for everything, except for, major, invasive surgeries and that kind of thing. But yeah, we're trying to differentiate by offering things that our competition doesn't. So like in-home care services, which is something that we think is a necessity, because there's these startups out there that are claiming that we don't need in-home in-office visits anymore, but that's far away. It's before that ever happens, because 1 in 4 doctor's visits requires some type of diagnostic work. These are essential. So with in-home care services, you'll be able to, we'll either offer it to our patients directly, or actually as a B2B model where we'll offer it as like a specialty premium service that startups or companies can offer their through their benefits program. So if they have to get a physical, for instance, or any type of diagnostic work or whatever the case, a COVID shot, they can actually go on the platform and schedule it, and have a provider will come to their office or their home and actually do it for them there. And these services won't cost anything more than what they're paying for our other treatments, which is right around between $70 to $100.
So you're looking at providers such as phlebotomists, people coming to a home, taking a blood draw, a nurse coming maybe. Will you even have physicians showing up at people's homes in necessary times?
Yeah. Yes. So the idea is these will be like, on-demand kind of services, but, eventually we'll be able to, because we want to be able to treat these patients on an ongoing basis forever, for the lifetime of, for their whole life. We want to be able to also offer like extended care services or, outpatient services too. So if you require, in-home monitoring, that kind of thing, we've got an API that we built that allows smart devices to be able to integrate with our platform. So we don't have any that we've built ourselves, but we are already created some partnerships with several pretty amazing ones out there that we can utilize or partner with, so our patients can be monitored remotely. So
sounds like the future of robotics and smart devices combined together are going to be applicable to your business. How about dentistry? Are you going to offer dentist-owned local?
I hope so. I hear that's the next big thing. So I don't know how that's possible because I don't know that much about it, but it sounds amazing. So
yeah, it's cost prohibitive to take a dentist into a single setting and move them around with the equipment that's needed, because it is surgery for the most part.
Yeah.
You're not doing consultations in dentistry hardly ever. You're primarily operating every single patient,
Right.
other than the first meeting when you examine them.
Yep.
Now it's cutting, grinding, drilling, making stuff. So I don't know how it'll go in the home, but it could be done. I've done remote dentistry all over Africa, and I go into places with no water, no electricity, and do full service. It is possible.
Yeah.
Hey, how about any online platform you use right now? Is there something that you've developed or you rely on?
Yeah, I mean, just as far as software tools go, or yeah. Well, so I'm I'm a strong believer in in building your own software, having everything kind of proprietary. But I also know that as a founder of several different businesses, it's essential to get an MVP and go to market as quick as possible, just to get that traction going and start getting that user feedback to see if it's a viable product that's gonna take, or you got to pivot or whatever the case may be. And so sometimes it does require for you to license pieces of software in the interim. But with Dapper, we've kind of gone back and forth with everything. So we want to have our all proprietary software. And at first we licensed an EHR for our system, because we were not set up and we were gonna just go progressively at it. But then I brought on a new CTO, and we decided that we should just, right out of the gates, we should just go for it. So we had already started working on it. So now, yeah, I mean, everything that we have is we built it ourselves. So it's not perfect. It's far from it. And it's yeah, you know, it's just like any other startup. It's just kind of barely hanging on there, but we're working on it every day, and it's improving and stuff. And you know, users use it and they give you feedback, and that's how you learn. And it's, you know, no different than, I mean, Microsoft, everybody does it. So you know.
Let me ask you about the client acquisition. There's two sides to that. You got to have your providers and you got to have your users, end users. How are you finding your doctors and nurses and whatnot? And how are you finding the patient who will
Yep.
access the portal?
Yeah, so from for our provider network, so we're licensed in all 50 states, and because it's you know, everything is regulated at the state level, we need to have a provider, which is, you know, someone that can write a prescription, so a nurse practitioner, doc, physician, or, you know, a physician assistant, that and for each, you know, I guess, treatment area that we need. In general, the providers are like general practitioners or internal medicine, that type of thing, that, and they're trained to be able to address everything, because we're not, right now, they're not treating anything major. It's pretty much cookie cutter. We're in soft launch right now, and so we're just focusing on men's sexual health treatments, erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, that kind of thing. But as far as we've got a nationwide provider network, and in order to do this, you know, in a, you know, to go to market as quickly as possible, you know, just like everything else, we're licensing the providers. So it's nice because now with telehealth taking off, there's all these third-party companies like, you know, True Pill and Open Loop, and these companies that provide these providers, and they actually make sure that they get the training and everything else on your particular treatments and stuff. So we're doing that, and at some point we'll kind of transition over into.
Hang on one time. Before you go to that, I want to finish up with the provider because it's very interesting.
Yep.
Do you actually have the ability to have your product service an add-on to an existing men's health center, so they could just add your service as part and have the access to somebody who's got an established place?
Yes. So yeah, we want to make it, yeah, I mean, we built the platform as flexible as possible so that yes, we definitely could do that. So we're always open to, you know, partnerships as well. And, you know, but if that's, yeah, I mean, if there's an existing doctor's office or, you know, some type of a, you know, company that's, you know, healthcare company that's offering, you know, in-office, you know, visits or something, they want to
Expand.
Absolutely. Yep.
Market penetration.
Yep.
Hey, how about the clients now that are the user, the end group? Talk about those guys. How do you actually find those guys?
Yeah. So, you know, that's where, you know, my marketing expertise comes in, I guess. My marketing company is called Branded, which just happens to be, yeah, sounds healthcare related, but, and I've had it for 23 years. So it's changed names over the years, but, that's what we specialize in, is direct to consumer, acquisition, we take an omni-channel approach. So we've got a team of media buyers, that, you know, we do really, you know, typically, you know, we sold over 400 different products in 2020, you know, during COVID. So, and we do really high volume. It's, you know, social media marketing, Google, SEO, and a lot of email and SMS as well. So, and that also includes, you know, we've got our own customer customer service team that does inbound and outbound calls as well. So it's kind of like there's not one particular channel that we use. It requires several different kind of channels in order for it to work properly. So, each person needs to be, it's like 7 to 8 touches before they actually turn into a customer, we believe. So, yeah.
How do you turn your successful clients into brand ambassadors?
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe that the best way is to have a happy customer. I mean, it really comes down to the customer is always right. And so, and I'm not alone in this by any means, but the other, my biggest competitors in the space, which are, like Roman and Hims, they've done a really good job, especially Hims at doing this. And then we're not just providing the off the shelf typical, treatments that you see that are, boring in the pill bottle, or whatever these are treatments that are all personalized for each patient. If it's a skincare product or a hair loss product, we're actually giving them shampoo that they actually want to use. It smells good, the results, besides, helping them with hair loss, actually, it would be a great, product to actually just buy. Same with skincare. All of our skincare products are personalized for each individual. So based off of their type of skin, if they've got oily skin or dry skin or whatever the case may be, if they're, their skin, their complexion, their skin color, where their climate they live in, exposure to the elements. These are all taken into consideration. So they have something that actually works. So we spent a lot of time doing R&D on these products to make sure that we came up with the very best, things out there. So they smell good, and I think they're great. So I have a feeling everybody else will too. So.
We're looking forward to finding out more about where we can get these. We'll get there to that point in just a minute. I want to kind of drop back and kind of let you look back on your life and say, oh gosh, I'm 20 years old. I'm David Pachkofsky. And what advice are you giving yourself?
Save your money. Well, at that age, I started my first company when I was 16, and I had my first exit when I was a senior in college. So I was right around that time, I guess. And I, had a few bucks in my pocket then, and I decided to, pack it in. And after going to, some post-grad at Notre Dame, I headed to the West Coast to California. But I was lucky because I had a lot of early success in the digital marketing space because it was kind of the wild, wild west back then. I'm not, and I think as a founder, a lot of it has to, luck has a lot to do with your success. It just is. You're playing. It's like playing roulette. It's always you're rolling the dice, and you try to follow the rules and do things properly. But I guess the one thing, not to go off track here, but it's it comes down to diligence. And I think when I was a first time founder and stuff, that was the one thing. I know I've always had it, or I wouldn't still be doing it. But if I would have known back then what I know now, it's like I would have known to be like, stay diligent, just keep moving. Everybody passes failure on the way to success. It's all these sayings that you hear, as far as like, hitting rock bottom, you only got one way to go, but up. It's I'm not saying I hit rock bottom, but you know, it's like, it's a roller coaster being an entrepreneur. It's not like it's not glamorous like everybody, thinks, until, because, I've had a couple of big exits, and I took that money and I put it right back into another startup, or a couple and roll the dice again. So
To me, it sounds like something I learned from Brandon Bouchard. You got life's golden ticket. You cashed in, and you did it again, and you did it again. But people don't see the trough between the peaks. So you
no.
have the ups, you have your downs. How did you maintain your health and sanity during the successful years so that you could persevere through the bottom to get to the next top?
Yeah. Well, I mean, each time I think, you learn little tricks and stuff, but I mean, I've always been a bit, I've always been kind of a fitness advocate, and because that's the space I've been in. And, I was a varsity rower back in college on the crew team. And, but
That means you were dedicated and that you were never going to quit.
yes, yes. Well, you can't quit when you're in the rowing in the boat, because everybody else is power right through you. So, but it's kind of that mentality. It's like there's just certain things, regimen that you have to follow. I've become a creature of habit with things. I'm no Navy SEAL, but it's these guys, like David Goggins, and these guys that are incredible at being a founder. And the success that they've had it's because it's a regimen, staying healthy, making sure you're exercising, and what was it? And just doing some type of like yoga, or breathing exercises, meditation. I think these are pretty important. It's each morning to do something like that, and just kind of refocus yourself for the day, and always have a notepad with you at all times, even in the shower. That's one of my biggest things. So, because some of the biggest ideas you have come to you at the most oddest times.
I can just see it, David. You've got a drawing board in the shower with a waterproof pen hanging down from it so you can write your notes.
I've got it. You can find it on Amazon. Yep.
Send us a picture. We want to see that. That's a great, but keep it PG.
Yes, my wife thinks I'm crazy, but it's
Tell us, what do you do to be impactful? Why do you want to be impactful to the world?
Yeah, I mean, I've over the years I've had, I have a charity or nonprofit organization for autistic children, called OC Spectrum Kids, that I started back in like 2005, I believe. And that was my first run at, doing something, giving back, and doing something with, as far as that goes. But, and then as time went on, and I moved from Newport Beach up to the Bay Area, where I'm at now in Silicon Valley. Now I have, got two kids, and, 5 and 7, and, I've got a lot going on, but my wife's a pediatric oncology nurse at Stanford Children's Hospital. So, our family is pretty good at, as far as like, doing things that are impactful in general. We do a lot of, but, she's part of this business as well. She's one of my, advisors, and, and she's actually a silent partner, but, obviously, but, we, Dapper is really, really, I'm trying to everything that I do right now, that's what's driving me. I'm just trying to make it's that's all I'm doing. It has to have some type of make an impact on people for me to do it. It's not about the money anymore. So
when it's all said and done, what do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be able to make a difference in everybody's life that we treat. So I really want to change the way that healthcare is really looked at. I think that it's broken and antiquated, and it needs to be, it is being disrupted, but I intend to make, we've got some big things planned for the future. And so I haven't told all my secrets yet, but I think it's, I'm excited. So I plan to leave a, I leave a mark. So positive one. So.
Well, I think you got a really good focus point, and I think you're hitting a niche that is underdeveloped and ultra needed. So I would applaud you for the effort and seeing it from the medical side. And as an oldster myself, medicine itself needs a little overhaul. So I think you're working, and we've got a whole network of doctors internationally, tens of thousands of us who band together to improve the healthcare model. So you may find yourself intertwining with what we're doing because of that. Speak about your interest in developing water wells and creating sustainability in places of need. That was interesting as we talked earlier about that.
Yeah. So, in the last few months, I started working closely with, or just, volunteering my time, donating my time to an organization called Global Water First. And it's it's pretty amazing what they're doing, but they are basically going to, third world countries, Africa, for instance. This is where we're actually working on. I'm focusing on one in particular. With actually, I coach Little League baseball for both my kids in Los Altos, and
Nice.
and one of the assistant coaches, he actually got me involved in this, and so his girlfriend is that her family is from this place in Africa, and what we're doing is Global Water First basically. It's got this business model, and they've done several. I think they've done, almost 30 of these, I think, or more. And they drill a well in these, locations that need water desperately, and then they build a business around it. So you've got water, and then you've got this bottling plant that is built on top of it. And then the bottled water is actually supplied to the actual people that live there. And then they actually produce enough where it's actually, they turn around and they sell it to the surrounding area, and so it's actually a source of revenue or for the the people that are living there, so that they can actually survive. So it's good. It's a good thing all around, for sure.
Well, thank you. That's an excellent point to go to the last segment of how can we support you and your business, Dapper Care. We want to allow you to give your URL or any supporting information so people can get back and learn more about Dapper Care.
Yeah, you can just email me directly. My email is david@dapper.care, CARE. So just shoot me an email. And yeah, I'd love to answer any questions you have, or get you set up. And because we are in our our soft launch phase and everything, we're anxious to get people onboarded and everything. So we are offering we'll be offering a significant discount to anybody that wants to jump on board. And if you guys drop me an email and let me know that you saw me on this show, that I will make sure you guys get the best discount out of, I'll give you 50% off. How's that?
Influencers podcast discount. Wow, I never heard of such a good thing. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
And any providers who are interested in talking with David, that would also be a valid connection point.
And and investors. So we're in the process of trying to we're getting close to closing our a round of funding. So that we're looking for some additional investors that want to hop on board and come along for the ride. So I'm excited, and yeah.
Sounds like a great final word. If you have anything else you'd like to add, do it now.
I don't think so. I think just other than, I appreciate you having me on. And, for anybody that's out there that is thinking about starting a company or something, go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Just make sure you have enough capital before you start. That's my biggest thing I can say. And be diligent and make sure you have something that you truly believe in. So
thank you, David.
Yep.
David Pachkofsky, Dapper Care, been with us today on Influencers Podcast. Excellent topic, excellent presentation. Want everyone here to know that you can see more Influencers Podcast shows at my QR code right above, or you can go to this URL right there, and you'll find basically two topics. One is the podcast information, how to look at all of them, including David's, which will be up on the website later today. But also you can find about things like our charity funding mechanism, which is Obless. You can find out about our AI technology, and you can find about our tracking systems for tracking all traffic on websites. David, you're going to be interested in this one. The tracking we can do is superior to anybody's. And if you're wanting to have web conferencing around the world, how would you like to have 10,000 attendees on a webinar, web conference for $125 a month? How would you like to have it for free?
Yep.
If you go here, you will find out how that's possible and how we're doing it currently. This is something that is already in existence. It's not a beta any longer. So, hey, everybody that's listening, thanks for tuning in to David and Dapper Care. And I know that it's time for us to check out. You got to take your kids to school.
Yep.
So I'll see you in a short time. And I look forward to more information about how well your Dapper Care is growing.
Great. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank
you all for being on the Influencer Podcast. We'll see you later for another session from Atlanta, Georgia Live. This is Dr. Bill Williams.
Take care.